שלום חברות וחברים, היום אנחנו מארחים את בריאן מ-OldHead Trading Company וטרפטק. בריאן הוא היוצר והממציא של הטרפ טורץ' וייפורייזר מבוסס מלחם שולחני מאוד 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 יעיל ואיכותי. בריאן ממציא ומעצב הרבה מאוד דברים לתעשיית האידוי והקנאביס. היום אנחנו נדבר איתו גם על חייו האישיים וגם על הדברים שהוא עושה בשבילנו הקהילה. אז תהנו. Brian, what up, man?
How you doing, man?
Hey. First of all, can you guys hear Brian? Let me know. What up?
What's up, everybody?
All right. So it's 11 a.m. at your sunny California residence,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You guys got stolen an hour, or you earned an hour?
We went forward an hour, which kind of steals an hour, I think.
Steals an hour. Yeah, it's the bad part of the clock change.
Yeah.
Hey, so first of all, I want to welcome you to the Sunday Funday sesh. I'm honored to have you here, man.
Man, it's good to be talking again, man. This is the first time I've used my voice since Wednesday.
Holy shit, dude. Before we do anything here, I want you to please tell the viewers what happened to you.
Man, I've been sick for a couple of weeks, and we were doing a special taping of One More Bowl with Jerry, and
Ooh.
I was trying to not cough, during the show. So I was holding it in, and about an hour in, I had to turn my camera off, and I had a coughing fit. And I mean, like, it was not a good idea, man. I ended up coughing so hard, I blew my insides out, dude. Wrecked my voice box, lost my voice, had to drop out of the show, an hour in. And then I knew we had this coming up, so I haven't said anything since Wednesday to try and make sure it'd come back. So yeah, man, it's I'm looking forward to consuming too, because I haven't had any cannabis. I haven't spoken. I've just been kind of taking it easy, letting my throat and neck
guys,
heal
we're
up.
popping Brian's cherry after a small tea break
Yeah, it's
here.
like the first time all over again.
Everyone, fill up your bowls or whatever you're filling up, and I'm gonna fill up my Terp Torch bowl for sure, in honors of you, Brian. And I'm gonna tell our viewers that you are the creator of the Terp Torch. If you haven't still figured that out, Brian is the creator of the Terp Torch, the amazing device that I'm using here right now, and that some of you already have. Yeah, we have the Torch Gang here in Israel. Green Joker represent. And Brian is also the creator of the OldHead Dynavap pipe and some very, very, very cool stuff that we're going to talk about and potentially show you guys. And a lot of cool stuff that you guys are going to see throughout the year. And while we're doing this and while we're loading our first bowl, I want you to tell us a bit about yourself and your first encounter with cannabis, man.
My first encounter with cannabis.
Yeah.
I was pretty much a straight edge through high school, but when I graduated, I had a friend who was he slang to friends, and I went over to his house one day, and I was like, man, I'm done with school. I don't have anything to worry about, man. I want to try out some bud. And I remember it just because it was so weird. Like, it's like a lot of people where they say like they don't get high or whatever the first time, like the guy packed me a bowl. I took a couple fat hits, and I'm like, man, I don't feel anything, dude. It's not doing anything to me, man. Is it cool if I just play some video games or something? He's like, yeah, man, my house is your house, whatever, dude. I walked by his bed. I remember grabbing a pillow, and then I just fucking fell forward. And I was out for like 3 hours, dude. Like, that was my first experience, dude. Just total KO.
Damn, dude. I've never heard of such a KO first experience. I
Yeah,
like
you usually hear about nothing, or you know what I mean, or maybe a little buzz, or they don't
yeah.
inhale right or whatever. But I took a couple deep inhales and just passed out, dude.
Damn. Do you happen to know what strain it was, or was it back in those days we had no idea
Yeah,
what we're smoking?
that I couldn't remember, but I remember like the old tricks. Like he would always he'd keep the bud in a jar covered in electrical tape because even back then we knew that light damaged the trikes or whatever.
Yeah.
But the old trick was you put orange peels in there because it kept the humidity and then it gave it a little citrus hint of smell. So yeah, I don't remember the exact strain. It was probably just regular mids, but it had an orange scent, so that that was
Hell
always
yeah.
cool.
um, cheers with the OG.
Cheers, man.
I am gonna vape some Titan medical weed from Univo with my terp torch, and I got some rubies in my terp torch, and I'm on setting 4. Cheers to that.
Cheers, man.
Okay, so a lot of questions out here in the chat. First of all, let's greet Coffee. Hey, Coffee, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And I see we got Simril Collection as well. Hey, Austin, what up, man? Um, I see a lot of questions about the 220 volt version of the Terp Torch. We are going to get to that later on, guys. Don't worry. And Emily, I remember you suggesting the first time to me when I opened the Terp Torch to shove it up my ass. I'm happy to say that I haven't tried it yet. So, moving on, Brian, before we get deeper into cannabis and vaping and whatnot, I want you to tell a bit about what you do, your experience, your skills, mainly design and engineering, if I know correctly. Did you study any of it? Did you like? How did you get to do that?
Um, I guess through family. My dad and my uncles are electrical engineers, and so I've just always grown up around that. I've grown up around computers, and I was never really a big video gamer. I always had a Mac or a PC, and always kind of tinkered with programming and kind of putting things together, that kind of thing. So I started out engineering stuff for the family business, and I started using cannabis, like I said, around the time I was 18. Um, I had actually gotten in a pretty bad car accident around that time too, that kind of jacked me up, and so I got my medical license, and my consumption went up, and I've been pretty ingrained in the medical scene and cannabis ever since. So it's kind of been always been something I wanted to do something in this industry. So it's kind of a dream come true, so to speak, to be able to do something you love, and
Damn,
that's where
man.
I'm at. Yeah.
So that's something I didn't know, and I'm happy to hear that. First of all, I'm happy that you're here with us, man, because car accidents are, as we all know, can be fucking terrifying and deadly. And fuck. So when did you actually start consuming cannabis medically? Was that right after the car accident? And
Yeah, I don't remember what exactly the year was, but yeah, once I was in that accident, I was still going through black market or whatever, friends, whatnot, hooking up, but that was just an easy push to go legit. once I had all kinds of MRI scans and all that kind of stuff, it made it a no-brainer to just get the paperwork and go that route. And then that opened up a whole other, when you have your medical permit in California, at least initially when the laws first came out, it also meant that you could grow. So I tried my hand at that for a little bit, and
Okay. That
man,
leads me to
I've
my
kind
next question, man.
of
Uh, so being a longtime cannabis consumer, well, you just said that you've experimented with growing. Um, how long have you grew cannabis, or what? Why? How did you grow it? What was your favorite strain to grow? What is your connection to growing still?
um currently I don't have anything going. I had started out with um overgrow.com was a big thing back in the day. IC Mag. I
Yeah.
had the George Cervantes handbook or Bible, and believe my first grow was a little, just like a Home Depot cabinet grow with the 150-watt HPS. Just something small with I think it was some seeds I had gotten from Amsterdam, because that was like the only way at the time, so
Yeah.
Northern Lights, um, Super Silver Haze, I think. And I mean, classic strains, but not like huge producers. I mean, nothing like what we are accustomed to now, and then especially, being my first grows, home grows with just regular soil and whatever nutrients you could get from Home Depot or whatever hardware store. I mean, it was nothing to write home about, but I had stuck with it because it was fun. There's something zen about the gardening and, getting to know the plant and how it works, how it grows. So I had eventually, moved up to like a tent. And then from a tent, and the more I was like smoking and getting to know people, I started to get to know owners of dispensaries and make friends there. I mean, next thing you know, there was a point where I had a warehouse and it was full of plants, and I was growing in like 3 10 by 10 rooms I had built, taking up the back of the warehouse and then blowing glass in the front half.
Damn. So you blow glass as well?
uh, I used to, and I mean, I would say that, you know I'll use that term very lightly. Like I did a lot of dab tools and spoon pipes. I was completely self-taught. You know what I mean? I took like a marble class because that was the only thing I could find anywhere in Southern California that had to do with borosilicate. But yeah, I mean, just YouTube videos and stuff like that. So I never could get into doing like heady bubblers or anything like that, but just kind of a hobby thing. It was cool to be able to do small repairs and make pipes for friends and stuff like that.
Cool, man. Cool. Sounds awesome. Um, what what was the biggest thing that you made out of glass? And what other skills have you self taught yourself? Okay, two separate questions. We'll start with what's the biggest thing you made out of glass, and then we'll do something else.
I had made myself a double bubbler, and that's, so probably about that tall, and that's because my kiln that I had was basically like 14 inches cubed. So that was the limit of what I could produce.
Okay.
And without having a lathe, really, it's pretty tough to do a bong or something like that. So super simple double bubbler that eventually totally just cracked from heat stress and not being right, but it was functional and it worked for a minute, so that was cool. But
That's awesome.
that was the biggest thing I made for sure.
Well, that sounds awesome. And before you said it cracked, I was gonna say, do you still have it around and can we see
Yeah.
it? But I guess that's something for the imagination.
Yeah, man, I really I don't have anything I think that I made back in the day. I don't have a lot of the stuff I had back in the day. I used to have an entire room that was just nothing but cannabis and grow posters, and I had a huge collection of glass, like all kinds of roars and Illadelphs and really cool pieces like that. But over the years, working and so on, family life, it's just kind of gotten smaller and smaller until now I'm like kind of getting back more and more into it. So
Yeah, so
just a
family, you have a wife and how many
little
kids?
little one son, yeah.
One son. And how old have you been a dad for?
3 years.
3 years, man.
Uh,
That's that's awesome. I'm going to be a dad soon, and
Congrats,
I've
man.
we've been talking about that,
Yeah.
and I'm super excited, and I love seeing how you maneuver through that, being a dad and doing what you do, and I want to ask you before I do this OG brick hit with my terp torch, because that's something that you can do. Because dude, the terp torch is like an induction heater, or shall I say a convection heater for the sticky bricks. And when did you start vaporizing?
I made my first attempt at vaporizing, I would say like 2002, right in that area, around 19 years ago. Um, Back then it was those heat gun vapes where you'd have a literal heat gun and then just a glass bowl that had a huge flange and you'd blast your nug that way. Or what I got was one of the Vapor Brothers boxes, which are the little desktop units made out of wood that just kind of had an 18 millimeter male sticking out, and you'd use the whip on those.
Yep.
And that was my first vape, but I've never been a whip guy, and it just didn't stick for me. You know what I mean? I tried it; it was cool. I'd use it once in a while, and then back to combustion.
I fucked up 1 second. I clicked on something I shouldn't have clicked on. 1 second, guys. We're coming back. We're coming back. We're coming back. Ah, come on. Anyway, that's awesome. So you've been vaping well, you attempted vaping a long time
Yeah.
ago. And while I try fixing it, can you tell us what made you think about making your own vaporizer? I mean,
Ugh.
why did you even think about that? What happened?
I had basically come into some videos and seeing some stuff on the internet on Reddit and so on where people were starting to do the ball vape mods and seeing the production that you could get with a ball vape what was kind of brought it home. That was what I was missing was the cloud, and then also, and I didn't know, this is kind of it was a guess at the time until you actually try it for yourself, but the flavor profile, when you are smoking, granted you get the nasty combustion, whatever, from the stuff being burnt, but at the same time, you're actually knocking out or releasing all the terps at the same time. So, Granddaddy Purple or whatever tastes like Granddaddy Purple, whereas with vaping, especially with the early vaporizers, you would kind of get, different strains would mostly taste the same because you're hitting them at a temperature that would release like half of the terpenes. And then you could push it high, or that's like the famous thing, right? Is temp stepping or whatever. And to me, that doesn't hold appeal because I want the flavor of the strain, you know what I mean? So I don't like unlocking like half of it and then the other half and then 5 or 6 popcorn hits. I
Yeah,
like the idea of just, blasting a bowl one way or another with fire or with heat.
totally, man. And then, the first thing you ever created was the Terp Torch.
The first the first vaporizer. Yeah, I had actually like on a super small scale and mostly in the Southern California area where I live, I had come out with a wax pen like 10 years ago.
Damn.
Yeah. And it did all right. I had started that up with a buddy of mine from high school, and we did like the trade shows or whatever that would come this way. A couple cannabis cups and so on, and did pretty good. But that was like at the beginning of that whole scene. Basically like G Pen and Cloud Pen came along and just dumped, tons of money into that space and kind of
Yep.
diluted it. So we ended up just quitting while we were ahead there. But that was the first thing I did commercially in the space.
Do you have any of them to show? Possibly.
Man, I don't. I've been meaning to swing by. I'm still buddies with my friends from high school, and a couple of them still have some of those. So one of them's
Cool.
offered to throw me one he still has, like never opened or whatever. So I was like, yeah, dude, hell yeah. I don't have any of that stuff. That'd be super cool to have on the shelf.
Sounds awesome. I would love to see that. That's like a piece of
Blast from the past,
history.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
blast from the past. I'm gonna make some questions from the audience here and ask: is there gonna be a mobile version of the Terp Torch, like a portable? Sorry.
right. The Terp Torch, no, I don't see that happening.
Okay, there you go, Shlomi. You got your answer. אם לא הבנת שלומי, אז שאלתי אותו אם יהיה טופ נייד, ולא יהיה טופ נייד.
It's really hard to do any kind of portable ball vape because of the warm up required. You know what I mean? Like,
You'll waste half your battery will
yeah, I mean, you
heat
need you
soaking
need
the
10
vape.
minutes to heat soak. So you're gonna carry around a car battery with you, like those portable e-nails. You're not gonna get something truly portable. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
there's some cool ideas I have for a portable that I'm working on, but it wouldn't be the same technology. It would be something totally different.
oh. Speaking of things you're working on, we've seen something really cool in Troy's intro video, and I wanted to ask about that. And I want to ask, this is a question from Progressive Vapor. Shout out to you, Progressive Vapor. How did you get to try 3D printing, and when did you know you wanted to make money out of it or make it a business?
It was never really about making that a business. It's just that in developing products, I mean, even before the Turp Torch with, you know, other stuff I've done in other industries, had to send out for prototypes, and it's costly and takes time. Where with the 3D printer and basically like that's what what would happen when you're doing a prototype is you're paying somebody else to 3D print something and send it to you. And eventually it got to the point where that didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like I would save myself money by being able to do that in house. Plus the added boon there is it's like I can have an idea and just produce it. You know what I mean? So now it's like before it would be like, okay, I'd have an idea, like, man, is it good enough to spend like $300? You know what I mean? To get a sample of, and I'd shelf a lot of stuff that otherwise I might have tried and then might have actually turned out pretty cool. Whereas now, like if I have an idea and it's something I can produce reasonably, I'll just bust it out and then give it a shot. So it's kind of opened, I guess, a few more doors to creativity, but that's more what it's about. It's about doing prototypes and making money out of 3D products itself. At least at this point. I mean, who knows? Never say never, but
Yeah. I love seeing you prototype things, man. This is it's the first time I got to see it, and since then it's like you've opened a whole new world for me. And I was wondering if you have any cool prototypes you can show us of things you're working on. Uh,
Sure.
I mean, one
Sure.
something you don't have to, you know. And
No, I'll show you something. I have I'm hoping to release this next month in time for 420. It's currently being molded out of food safe plastic, but I'm not settled on a name yet. But basically, it's a portable debowler. So my working name is a portable. But so food grade plastic and food grade silicone O-ring, so that way you'll store your ABV on the go, and then it's got a little tool in here that you invert and it becomes your spike to,
I love that, man.
you know.
I love that. Look at that design, people.
And then when you're done, you just kind of, and then same deal with the tool that came with the torch that I had designed. You know, you can use the other end for tamping if you need to, stir, whatever, and then continue using it as a debowler or whatnot.
Damn.
The other added cool thing about this particular tool design is I've made it so that I'll show you here. This one doesn't have a CCD in it, but you can, insert from the bottom, put your finger over the top and pop out the CCD
Damn.
for cleaning and whatnot, and then put it back in and set it with the bottom of the tool. So kind of comes in handy.
This looks like an awesome,
Yeah, that's one of the things
wholesome
I've worked on.
experience.
Yeah, for sure, man. I like it. I think it works pretty well. We'll see what people think when that hits the market. But that and the mask that everyone's seeing, that's actually in production. Same deal out of food safe. That one's a little trickier because that one has to be food safe and ultra high temp.
Yeah.
So um we're going back and forth on the mold on that, but hopefully, ideally, that'd be something that comes out before 420 as well. I just don't have a as solid of a timeline on that one. Whereas I know that the debowlers are like in production already for the most part. Yeah.
And we will hopefully get them here to Israel, people. Don't worry. This
Heck
is
yeah.
going to
Heck
be
yeah.
awesome. And I'm going to hit my Dynavap to that because, yeah, I love my Dynavap as well. It took me a while to get to love those Dynavaps, but now I can't go anywhere without a Dynavap, man. We got a James in the house. Hello, James. All right. So, um, do you consider yourself a vape collector by now?
At this point, I've got a few. Nothing at Troy or Jerry's level, but I've got a decent handful. I've certainly over the years gone through a ton of them, but in the past, I mostly would pick them up and then sell them just because it wouldn't be for me in the long run. But now I'm kind of even when I grow out of them, unless it's really not for me and it's not something I'll ever pick up, I just kind of throw it on the shelf and keep it for the nostalgia of it or the memorabilia sake.
What's your favorite device? Noodles is asking.
Um, I am really, really partial to the OG sticky brick. There's just something about the simplicity of it. that makes it easy to pick up and go, you know?
Yep. It's like a bong feeling without the water, without like it's like a bong pipe, and I don't know, it's such an awesome experience with this device, with the mouthpiece and the ease of use, and the fact
Yeah.
that it feels like I don't know, it feels awesome in your hand, man.
Yeah, yeah. The Dynavap is always a favorite, you know, and that one's a go-to for on the go. But the sticky bricks, like the OG in particular for me, I I'll take that with me places or sitting in the living room or out in the backyard or whatever. It's just kind of an easy piece to pull out and hit.
Yep. Yep. Shout out to Sticky Bricks. Kenny is the man. I I know you like doing other things other than cannabis and vaporizing and shit like that, but before we get to what you love doing right now, I was wondering what did you do before you started working in the cannabis space?
I was, you know, working with the family doing some engineering and products outside of the space. I also had a company where I did business consulting and marketing. Um, I've done a fair bit of programming and websites and that kind of stuff in the digital realm. And then I spent a few years doing like voiceover work just to
Wow.
kind of mix it up because I was tired of all the you know, the digital and the business stuff. Like I wanted something kind of um I don't know, you know, I thought it would be easier, but it's actually its whole own thing. But it was a nice change of pace, you know. It was something that was cool to do and something that was fun for sure.
What's the coolest voiceover project that you've done?
Um, the coolest one I did was probably it was a mobile game for Marvel, but they didn't actually end up using my voice. Like for something like that, they end up hiring a few actors for every role, and then just
Oh.
at the last minute, you know, pulling one of them. So yeah, I didn't end up actually using my voice in that one. Um, but there's been some weird, you know. There was I can't remember what the name of the company was, but it was a like a auto repair chain that I did a radio commercial for, and that one was kind of cool just because of the you know the kitschiness of it, like that. The kind of doing the tropes or whatever, like kind of doing the whole sales like voice or whatever is always kind of fun. Being able to turn on the radio voice and do that kind of thing is kind of a kick. Although I did a documentary where they wanted me for the whole documentary to speak as if I was like trying to do the cowboy's voice from The Big Lebowski. And that was probably the roughest one just because that's hard to keep up for an hour and a half.
Whoa. Yeah. So would you say that was your favorite job other than what was your favorite job?
Oh man.
Damn, that's a
That's
hard
a that's a
question.
that's a that's a hard one, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I'll let you think.
I'm this is kind of taking the cake right now.
Yeah.
Before this, you know, everything's like working for other people for the most part. I mean, I guess doing my own firm for marketing and business consulting, like that was the best up to that point, just working for yourself kind of thing. But you know, everything cannabis related is obviously way more fun. I had the most fun, you know, growing plants and blowing glass than anything for sure.
I can agree about that. Okay, we're
Yeah.
gonna talk. I'm gonna ask: is there gonna be a 220 version of the Terp Torch?
Unfortunately, I do not think so. Um, the recent legislation really just put a whole wrench in that whole operation. So, um, I do not see a 220 version of the Turf Torch coming out, which isn't to say that, there might not be some kind of vaporizer that, I have a
Yeah.
hand in later down the road or whatever, but um it's just so risky right now. And being so small and just starting out, it didn't seem to be it doesn't make sense to keep dumping money into that with the uncertainty. You know what I mean?
Oh
Was,
my
was
God,
that was that
dude.
to me?
No. My wife just came home
That's it.
and she brought pizza. Oh my God.
Nice.
Oh shit. Yeah, sorry man, sorry about yeah, that was shit. Oh my God. Yeah, let's get back to it. So I love the fact that you're doing what you're doing right now because I'm really happy that I got the chance to meet you on the 420 Vape Zone server.
Likewise, man.
And can you tell people where's your origins from?
Oh, I'm Lebanese.
Yeah, one time I made kusamachshi, and Brian's like, "Hey, dude, that's kusamachshi," and I was like,
Childhood memories.
"What? How'd you know that?" And yeah, we started talking and found out Brian's Lebanese, and
You know Kenny is too?
I think I do. Yeah, I think I do.
Dude, that was a trip to find out. Yeah, yeah. Really cool.
And yeah, that's pretty cool, man. And I was hoping to get to that because there are some a lot of different Israelis here in the chat with us, and it just goes to shows people makes everything, man. And
Yeah.
I want to ask you a bit more about your hobbies, dude, because you ride a motorcycle, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What other things you like to do? And what motorcycle motorcycle you're riding?
I had I started riding a sports bike, but I quickly figured that that was going to get me killed, the whole need for speed thing. So I ended up getting a Harley, and my hypothesis was wrong. It doesn't matter what you ride. If you if you want to go fast, you're going to go fast. So um yeah, currently I'm on a Harley. I've got one of those big baggers, or what we call a bagger. It's got the big saddlebags on the side of it and the fairing in front, so kind of the touring model.
Nice.
Um, yeah, I'm embracing my inner old man. The older I get, I got a kid now. Try to slow it down. Those are my hobbies. Riding a motorcycle when I can, which is fewer and farther in between now, and just playing with the kid.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And you also like playing computer games, right?
Yeah, I just kind of got started into it with the boys on the vape zone. That's been kind of cool.
So that's like the first time you actually got into computer games.
For the most part, I mean, there was a period where I had like a kind of a decent PC, and I had played a couple of the Battlefield games, like Battlefield 42, Battlefield Vietnam. Um, Nothing like serious or competitive or anything, but I had just like, I'd played those games, so I had like some first person experience. But even then, it was like a whatever questionable consumer, like low end video card I had, only lasted a year or two, and then I was kind of over it. It never really held my attention for very long, and even still, like, I'll see you guys playing a game. I'll pop in for a few rounds, and then I'm like,
I love the
but
fact
it
that
is
you
kind of
saved
nice.
me from Valheim, dude. Actually saved my life, man.
Man,
At the
that shit was
right moment.
addictive. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that shit was like crack, man. Sometimes you find a game like that that's like super engulfing, and that's awesome. But for guys like us, we got other shit we got to do, man. So
Yeah.
we had to crack that one open and end it.
And we did. I know we got some people watching that might be playing Crackheim. Save yourselves.
Save yourselves,
Save
man. Save
yourselves.
yourselves. Although
So
I've gone back and started messing with it here and there, but like I said, it's like 15 minutes at a time. You know what I mean? Like,
I do the same. I have a house that I'm building. I go in, I play like 15 minutes, and I go out.
yeah,
That's it.
pop in, kill a troll, and then like pop out. You know what I mean? Call it a day.
Um, what company in the cannabis space is your favorite company? I mean, yeah.
Hmm. On a small scale, I would say Sticky Brick. I really like the way that Kenny does business, and just from the morals and the ethics up. Um, on the larger end, I would have to say Dynavap, for the community that they've been able to build. Something that,
Damn.
in almost 20 years of vaporizing, I've never seen.
I
I mean, you
agree.
have you have guys that are super dedicated to like Stores and Bickle and to the volcano and stuff, but it's not like the same kind of community that Dynavap has. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just something that's kind of unique and really cool to see.
Damn. I love your answer, man. And shout out to Dynavap. They did they have a great community. They have a great device. Pretty much
Yeah. Oh, and the stuff they're doing with the concerts, man, that's super cool.
to me as a musician, that just makes me love them even more, you know.
Yeah,
It's so amazing that they're supporting the people that have been hurt the most by now, like
yeah.
musicians and people that do shows and events and things like that. Been out of work for a while, and yeah. So Green Joker is asking if you have any tips for the Terp Torch.
Um, don't leave it in the glass.
That's a great
Definitely.
tip,
You
man.
know, yeah. I see people doing that, and it always sketches me out because I mean, although that's slightly hypocritical because I'm also super hard on people that tell people how to use their shit. Like, okay, use it however you want to use it, but I would suggest the way it was intended for use is,
Yeah, the
is just to be like a
instructions are
lighter.
pretty
So you
detailed,
bring it,
man.
yeah, you bring it to the bowl and you heat it like a lighter, and then you take it and pull it away, and that just
So yeah,
it gives
Masha
it
Shore
the
is asking. He pretty much asked that. He said that people don't really know the device. And a lot of people don't know the device, and maybe we can show what is it and how it's being used. So I'm gonna show it right now. Gonna do a little
nice.
demonstration. This is the Terp Torch, right? So what's this part?
That's the soldering iron.
Okay.
The turf torch is actually based on a soldering iron, so it ships as a soldering iron, and then you get that titanium tip assembly that goes on the end. And that tip, where the fins are, basically threads on to the ceramic heating rod of the soldering iron, and then the fat part, the 18 millimeter tip that you see at the very end, is filled with borosilicate or ruby balls, um, which is what gives you the the larger clouds and the better heat saturation, and what makes it a heavy hitter.
All right. This device is set on 399. This is Celsius.
I was gonna say super low.
You know what? I'll crank it up to 4.
Well, no, no, I'm saying because it was Celsius. I'm accustomed to Fahrenheit over here, so I was like 399.
Oh.
Although I've
Yeah.
got my email set to 365 because I'm playing with low, super low temp dabs.
Okay, so uh, the device operates pretty much like a lighter for a bong. It's got a bowl. You do not want to touch the top of the bowl. Never ever get accustomed to not touching that part. And don't leave the torch inside after you've finished. Basically, I need to load a fresh bowl though, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
do that.
things expand and contract with heat, and when they cool down and so on. So I mean, you run the risk of if you were to leave it, and some people they have a piece where the bowl is left in the upright position, so they might leave the torch in there, and what happens or what could happen is after a few minutes it just becomes fused to where you'd have to turn it off and wait for it to cool down before you're able to finagle it back out again. So that's why it's always said, just bring it to the bowl, take your hit, and then
Yep,
put it back on the stand.
which is what we're gonna do right now without breaking anything. There we go. Cheers. Whee! Damn. Hey, we got Pranav in the house, man. Our Viking bro. If you people don't know, Brian, Pranav, and I, we had a pact in Valheim.
Dream Eagle Island.
Yep, yep. Oh, sorry. And I see Vape to Space write something about when he's gonna have more bowls in on the site. When do you have? When are you gonna have more bowls on the site?
uh, to be determined. Unfortunately, we were kind of hit double time. That the whole vape ban thing happened, and the credit card processor shut us down for dealing with vaporizers.
Damn.
So yeah, even though there was a couple parts left, we're just nothing's been able to been sold. So I don't have an answer on that just yet. Just I guess, stay tuned and see what happens there for availability of parts, or maybe we'll see that stuff from the resellers that still have some of that stuff available. I'm not completely sure, but unfortunately, no solid answer there. Just everything's super super bad. And I had seen out of the corner of my eye a comment about how about just getting the tip to bypass the ban, and unfortunately, that doesn't look like a possibility at this point. Never say never, but that ban is pretty restrictive. It includes the parts, and I'm even getting emails from CBD companies that are saying that they're not even going to ship CBD because CBD being vaporizable by an electronic vaporizer is can
What?
technically be considered. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the company, but I had two different companies reach out to me, doing huge fire sales, saying the future is uncertain, and they look like they're going to be closing their operation in a big part because of that ban. It's super weird. I mean,
Damn.
the hope was that something would change there, and who knows, hopefully something does in the next couple of months, but it looks like it's going to go into effect, and without a whole lot of intervention, just because obviously there's a lot of other stuff going on right now that's taken up you know the legislative body's attention and so on. But hopefully that does get addressed, because it's written way too broad. I mean, it's almost like it's set up to strangle our industry.
Damn, that's been a big hit, man. That's changed a lot in the game, and I hope that we can all figure out how to
Yeah,
play
yeah,
soon.
yeah.
I mean, I see some companies changing their names to
You know what I mean? I was gonna
some
say, like, I don't want to
some
name names, but
wacky.
I mean, you see a lot of companies that are kind of, you can tell that they're going the same direction, and that, this thing is serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a shame.
So the hat that I'm wearing and even my shirt today and even my cup, dude, they're all themed.
Nice. Yeah, I noticed the hat, man. Nice.
One more bowl, and if you all look right here, we got Pretty Bright. Oh, you're in two places, dude. What? We broke the space-time continuum. One more bowl. That's been a cool project that you
One more
guys been
bowl.
doing.
Super fun. Yeah, yeah.
How are you like?
I
How are
don't know. I don't
you?
know that anybody actually watches, but it's still super fun to do, man.
Hey, first of all, if you people here haven't watched One More Bowl yet, you should watch. And the link is gonna be in the chat in a second. Yeah. So, you guys pretty much create stoner culture content, and not really like stoner culture. You create like
Yeah, I mean, it's at this point, it's like literally just sitting in on a sesh between the four of us. So we may talk a little bit about vaporizers, and we may talk about some strains, and we'll swap stories about experiences and stuff like that. But then we might start talking about, a movie that we like, or, you know, we spent 15 minutes one episode talking about new chicken sandwiches that hit the fast food chains. Like, man, it's really a kind of a more of a lighthearted session. So definitely not super informative if you're looking for, you know what I mean, like a review or something like that. But it's something cool to sesh along to, and jam out with. Instead of turning on lo-fi beats to sesh to, you can pop on one more bowl and
and
sesh with us
passively
chatting in the
sesh.
background. Yeah, yeah. That's kind of the feedback that I've been getting, is people are like tuning in, on their lunch break or whatever, turning it on, and basically having a bowl with us, which is kind of cool. Like, that's kind of what we meant for. So,
That's super
but
cool.
that's another thing where, never say never. Who knows? Like, we're open to suggestions. If people want to see something else, we may end up starting to do something a little different. But we're having fun right now, just kind of shooting the shit and being ourselves.
Cool. Hey, there's a really great question in the chat. What would be the optimal vape that hasn't been invented yet? I really want to hear your answer.
I mean, I would give you the answer, but it exists in my mind already, so no. I mean,
So,
okay. Well, so the ultimate vape, sorry, man. The ultimate vape that doesn't exist yet, in a nutshell, would be something that hits as hard as a ball vape, but is truly portable and faster to heat up. So I won't go into technological specifics because I already have some
that's
ideas
a
there.
good answer.
Yeah.
What would you Oh, Brian, would you suggest putting balls in an SSV?
Um, because Troy wouldn't, I wouldn't. I don't have an SSV myself, but for the same reason that Troy basically doesn't recommend it anymore, is the same reason why I would say not to, is
Hot
it's not
balls.
secure, and there's hot balls. You know what I mean? Like, the one of the longest things in the Terp Torch project was figuring out how we were going to secure the balls and make it so that they wouldn't, pop out. And ultimately, it's using a circlip, which you don't have that option on an SSV. All from my understanding, you're doing is just kind of sticking a screen in place and hoping that that holds, and it might. And if you're super careful, you know, it totally could. But once you start moving it around, you know, I've heard of people modding them and then shipping them to friends and stuff, and just, you know, that jostling in transit. Somebody gets an
Oops.
SSV and a box full of balls. You know what I mean? So, you know, I definitely wouldn't recommend it unless you consider yourself super responsible and an advanced, you know, vape modder.
Take that in consideration, guys.
Yeah, hot balls are no joke, man.
Hot balls, man. We've seen what happened to Troy once. He got hot balls all over his pants. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, basically, I ran out of questions right now, and I,
Well, I want,
I
you know, I like to hear. I don't think I've ever heard your first experience with cannabis, and I'm kind of interested. If you don't mind me flipping it on you.
damn. Um. Oh, I remember my first experience with cannabis very, very brightly. I. All right. I appreciate you asking that. So I was 16 and a half. I was working in after school education program thingy with little kids, and the woman I was working with offered to teach me how to smoke bongs, and she sent me down to the city. I just got my driver's license. I was 17, and I went down to the city and bought a finger of hash. And the day after, I went back and I brought it after work. We went to the fields around where I lived, to an orchard, and then we she made the mix with the hash, and she brought a plastic bong, a pink plastic bong, and she showed us how to do it. It was me and my best friend and her, and she did it like no problem. And then I do it, and dude, I choked so bad because I fucking did it. Like I'm a singer. I've been singing since I was born, man, and I have lungs, like good lungs, and I chugged it, and I choked. I like chugged the bong, and then a second after I puked and I couldn't breathe. I was like, and then I was sitting, and my friend did his right after I did mine, so he wasn't noticing that I was choking, and he was asthmatic, and the guy passed out. Like he did it and passed out, and I, after puking and couldn't breathe for like 2 minutes, I I saw him passed out on the floor, and I started laughing my ass off, and he woke up, and I couldn't stop laughing for about half an hour, and I don't remember anything else after that. That was my
Damn.
first experience with cannabis, man. I'm not sure it was purely cannabis, and the hash in Israel back then was pretty shit. It wasn't any good. I mean, you could get good hash, but I didn't know anyone, so I probably got shit hash. Sounds like
But
ketamine.
one way or another, it was the start of a beautiful relationship.
To be honest, I didn't touch cannabis for about after the army. Uh, I got released
Oh,
early, so that was about when I was 20, and I still had that the hash finger left from back then. I had the same hash, so um, yeah, I went back to it, and it was shit, and I bought
damn.
weed, and that was slowly how I started going back to cannabis. But I started using cannabis just when like 23. Yeah, but that's it.
Nice.
And
I'm always interested to hear. I'm always interested to hear a good origin story.
yeah, me too. Me too. That's why it's one of my first questions because I think it's kind of um, a bonding question.
Yeah, especially since a lot of them are so similar. You know what I mean? Like we all started in similar places.
Yeah, even culturally distanced
Yeah,
countries have
we
similar
we all started. We
experiences.
had all started with a single puff.
Yeah. And yeah, man, cannabis is connecting us all, and I'm really happy that I got to know you and to sesh with you here and to get to know a lot more about you. I mean, that was awesome. I really appreciate you coming here.
Yeah, man,
Um,
it's fun.
I think we
Thanks
should
for
have
having me.
another bowl and then let your throat heal a bit more
Thanks,
because
man.
you've been doing most of the talking, dude. So,
One more bowl.
kudos. One more bowl. One more torch bowl. Torch. Torch. What other names have you heard for the Terp Torch online?
I know they're like calling it the derp torch on the vape zone.
Let's see if
um,
we have any more questions in the chat. Torch Gang, yeah, Green Joker represent. Green Joker was the first Israeli to buy a Terp Torch, so shout out to him.
nice.
Hayes loving his Terp Torch as well. Hell yeah. I think I'm gonna grind some. Oh, what's that? I don't know, but I'm gonna vape it. So, Zadika, I see a nerd. Cheers, man. Oh, wait. Serious question. Is the Terp Torch the only way to get to Terp Town?
There are several roads to Terp Town. You know, the the torch might be among one of the fastest routes, but you know, there's a whole class of heavy hitters out there, I think.
Hell yeah. I would rank the torch as one of the tops, but there are several heavy hitters, and I think what you did with the Terp Torch is awesome because it brings, first of all, it brings a friendly price tag, and then it packs a punch with such ease of use. You don't have to know anything about vaporizers and use that thing. It's just like a lighter, and it's great. And I'm really hoping to see what else you bring to the vaporizing space next, or heat extraction, or herbal aromatherapy extraction space, whatever it's gonna
Oh
be
yeah,
called
man.
next.
Yeah. Right. Me too, man. Me too, man. Hopefully, I think this is going to be a weird couple of months for the industry, but you know, when we come out of the other end of this, I can't wait to see what happens. You know.
Yeah, this. I think this COVID year has been humbling, and we've learned that the world will fuck us, and governments are gonna fuck us. And wait, there's a really nice question here. How did you find the Ruby's idea?
I don't know who I had seen do rubies first. Um, I think that's kind of like the ball vapes in general, where that idea just kind of came out and people started jumping on it, and you know, it's at the time, I don't know that there was necessarily any real benefit being seen, and it turned out that it actually does benefit the Terp Torch in its design. Um, but it's just kind of trial and error like anything else. I mean, it's just something that people were starting to load rubies into their vapes instead of glass, so we gave it a shot, and it seemed to work out, so we made it an option. So that said, it's still pretty new. Although I mean, I don't know what there is really to. Um, well, my understanding is that in when they're used as terp pearls, I've seen a lot of mention that they break like sooner than glass would. Like I guess I would say maybe heat stress is what's causing that, the cool down and the heat up. So that's always one thing I've been worried of. And when people had asked, why not make it standard on the Terp torch? And that's one reason why it's never been standard, is because ball vapes in general are super new. The rubies are like brand new. So it's kind of a thing that was made available as an option for those that want to try it. But as with the ball vapes in general, I mean, you're kind of on the cutting edge. You're doing the science yourself when you're playing with this sort of thing. So yeah, not if he's saying like if it was my idea, and totally not my idea, but something that I played with. Just I'm always listening to what people are doing, and playing with new ideas and new technologies to see what hits.
Yeah, and you also take a lot of inspiration from the community itself, and you talk to a lot of vapors, and you try a lot of
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
and I like that about you as well.
Thanks, man. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and if you guys wanna play some games with me and Brian every once in a while, you should definitely hop on the 420 Vape Zone server. Just remember that we're not working there. We're there to have fun, so come have fun with us. And yeah, if you have any work questions or other related personal questions, you can always DM Brian at his Instagram, and whatever you can say whatever you have, because I don't remember anything other than your Instagram.
Yeah, you can hit me up on Discord. You can hit me up on Instagram, Brian Got High. Or if something about the Terp Torch, you can send an email to Brian at terptechllc.com.
Cool, cool.
Um, and then don't forget to check out oldheadtc.com if you want to
Dude,
get if you want to get in on the old head stuff, and keep an eye on what I'm working on next.
we can uh we can expect that in Israel as soon as the new stock comes. So definitely keep an eye open for that. All the links are gonna be in the chat, and I'm still gonna sesh here for 45 minutes more. So you people don't go away, and Brian, you're welcome to not go away. I'm just worried about your throat, so
Yeah, I'm not feeling that great, so I'll probably
yeah.
leave you to it, but I'm gonna stick around and watch for sure.
Cool, dude. I'm gonna eat some pizza and play some games, probably some Call of Duty and Valheim. Gonna work on my house a little bit
Nice.
and keep on chatting with you guys. So it's been great, man. I love getting to talk to you one on one.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So
Thanks for having me on, man. It's a good
see
time.
you soon.